Well, War of the Rohirrim has hit Prime Video now, just a couple of weeks after it hit theaters. A huge disaster for the studio here. And of course, the actress now has gone out and is attacking Peter Jackson's Lord of the Ring films with a feminist attack, saying it does not pass the Bechdel test. Oh my gosh. So sad. Frodo needed a strong female lead to actually lead the way, I guess. And Tolkien should be rewritten. This is exactly what they wanted to do. They warned you the entire time they were trying to rewrite Tolkien. This entire concept of War of the Rohirrim is just a bastardization of Tolkien. And the mask is finally coming off because they really tried with the marketing of this. And this is just like where we're at in 2025, is these companies are going to get a little more careful with marketing. They know that when they push too hard with the woke agenda up front, that it just turns off audiences. They used to think that it actually it was going to bring in a modern audience because they really thought like this was the way forward. Now they're just going to hide it in the background and kind of like be quiet about it until after the fact in hopes that the message can get out there before people realize it, trying to trick people into theaters, trick people to play video games, etc. And this is kind of where it's at. They're backing off. They're getting more, quote, nuanced about their messaging, but the messaging is still there and that evil is still there. And it is just festering under the surface. So this is Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim. We're going to talk about what the actress said real quick. Please hit the like and subscribe button here, guys. And I'm a fantasy author myself. If you enjoy great fantasy, check out My Adventures of Baron von Monocle. This is about an airship crew that quests and adventures, fights monsters, and eventually gets itself into a very, very complex war that they have to deal with. It is a lot of fun. It's a 6-book series right now. It's available on ebook, print, and audio in the description below. Check it out. Support our channel and support good fantasy books. Really appreciate you guys for being here. So, the Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim actress Gaia Wise maligned Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy. Very sad. With a tired feminist attack claiming the movies do not pass the Bechdel test. Now, this is, if you don't know what this is, we're going to go into it. The Bechdel test is a silly, silly thing. And of course, Lord of the Rings is about the most faithfully you could adapt the books into movies possible. It was really, really well done. Peter Jackson just hit it out of the park, as we know. And, even though it's, can't be perfect by nature of a adaptation of books to film, it's as close as it's going to get. So very, very sad that she's going to malign this and attack it with feminist crap. But this is what they do. They want to destroy everything that came before. And when they're talking about the movies failing the Bechdel test, the books do too, right? Because the books are actually had even less of, quote, female representation than the movies did. If you've read the books, you know this. Very, very sad. But this shows how much they hate Lord of the Rings. They hate everything that came before. They just want to corrupt and destroy it every single time. This is exactly what they do. So in an interview with Total Film, ahead of its theatrical release, the interviewer commented, obviously in the Lord of the Rings films, there's only one scene where 2 female characters interact. Does not pass the Bechdel test. Oh, no. Ironically, Alison Bechdel, who the Bechdel test is named for, has called the original test a joke and shared how dismayed she was about the films taking shortcuts with strong female characters. So if you don't know what the Bechdel test is, like there's like a do 2 women characters exist? Do they talk to each other about anything but men? Do they have a purpose other than romance? It's silly, and she says it's a joke. It was a joke. I didn't intend for it to be a real gauge. It has become. It's hard to keep talking about it over and over again, but it's kind of cool. She's happy she's popular. A woman. This is very womanly, right? Happy it's popular. Doesn't matter whether it's actually good or not. That's what's more important to them. What's really dismaying now is there's so many movies cynically trying to take shortcuts and featuring strong female characters, but they just have a veneer of strength and they're not fully developed characters. Oh, it's really annoying. And this is exactly what they did with War of the Rohirrim. These women go out there, they want to be fighters, they want to be men, they want to fight with men. You see it so many times, and it's like almost a joke at this point when you watch this like 100-pound girl, like who's like she's captured by the big military dude who's muscular and all that, and she gets up and she kicks him and punches him and like knocks him out like without even like him being able to land a blow. It's such a joke in movies these days. That is true. And they're not developed characters. They're annoying. And that's exactly why people are rejecting them at this point. Nevertheless, Wise trudged ahead in her interview trying to promote the film from a feminist angle, and this is why it failed again. When asked how it felt to see how integral Hera and Olwen's relationship was, Wise said, "It made me really happy. It made me really happy we're finally telling the stories of especially the Shield Maidens because they sort of float around in the trilogy, but they are so important to the lore. And it also made me excited because hopefully there will be a generation of young girls," oh, this is what they always say, "who get to see this film and feel like they're seen and heard and empowered by it." Well, guess what? Nobody watched the movie, so that's not going to happen. This was a very weird thing because this last of the Shield Maidens lady who's kind of training Hera in this movie, they almost had a lesbian relationship. It was really weird. And then they rode off into the sunset together without the men. It was very, very subversive. It was very, very terrible on every single messaging level. That's exactly what they put through this. As for the Shield Maidens, like the unnamed daughter that the Warner Brothers turned into Hera for War of the Rohirrims, they are hardly mentioned in Tolkien's novels. So again, they always do this too. If you've watched Rings of Power and the way they do this with the interviews, they always talk about oh, this was so important in the trilogy, and it's barely mentioned in the book or not even mentioned in the book. They always lie. They haven't read the books. It's very obvious. They obviously haven't really studied the books, and then they pretend they have, right? In The Return of the King, Eowyn refers to herself as one during a heated conversation with Aragorn. She says, "But I am not of the house of Earl, a shield maiden, and not a dry nurse." Am I not? Sorry, meaning she is. I have waited on faltering feet long enough. Since they falter no longer, it seems, may I not now spend my life as I will. However, later in the story, she departs from that path. She says, "I will be a shield maiden no more. Nor vie with the great writers, nor take joy in only the songs of slaying. I will be a healer and love all things that grow and are not barren." Very much a very real feminine arc right here, right? This is what a woman aspires to be: a healer, a bringer of life. Things that are not barren, meaning motherhood is very important to women. And this is the opposite of the current Hollywood anti-life agenda of these women who, like Hera, goes off and decides not to get married, decides not to do any of this stuff, and just wants to travel the world by herself and have no children, right? That's why the Hollywood stuff rings so false, because that is not a very feminine quality. It's not what women are actually like, and it's very, very sad to watch generations get influenced by this. And you've seen the birth rate drop. I could go off on the impacts of this that they've done with this entire psyop through Hollywood, and that's exactly what it is. As for this film inspiring an entire generation of young girls, won't come to pass. The numbers reports the film has grossed a global total of $18.2 million, with only $8.7 million from the domestic box office and $9.5 million internationally. What a disaster. Its third weekend, the film grossed $455,000, and it's already gone on sale in various digital stores such as Amazon Prime Videos. It's already up. I don't know who's going to pay $24.99 for this, but hey, it's there. The box office analyst OMB Reviews predicted it would lose at least $31 million, so it's pretty big as a failure for how long this has been in development. But this is the agenda every single time. These people are just unabashed about it. They go out and give these interviews, but then they kind of hide them until after the film already comes out at this point. And that's going to be what is happening going forward. You're going to see these films talked about. If you remember, the producer woman of this actually went out and said the film's not woke right as it came out, trying to urge people to get out there when it was extremely woke. I've done a full review of this film. You guys can find it on the channel here and watch that. It's crazy how bad the agenda was in this film, and people knew it going in. You could tell just from the commercials, just from the trailer, exactly what these films are going to be. But it is going to get harder to be done going forward because these people are trying to hide the message more than they are. They're not abandoning the message. A lot of people are starting to say that around the internet. Oh, woke's dead. There's no more reason to fight it, blah, 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 blah. Not at all. The ride never ends, people. They're just going underground. They're making it more buried in these sort of things. They're putting it into subplots. They're putting it into tertiary characters again, because they're trying to just slow boil you like a frog in a pot rather than just push as hard as they can, because they realize that tactic has failed them. But the message is still there. The feminism is still there. They are trying to destroy our culture, and they're just trying to destroy Tolkien. It's one of their big agendas, because Tolkien is the father of fantasy. He did everything correct with that trilogy, and they are just livid about it because it does promote Christianity, it promotes masculinism, it promotes real heroism, and they can't have that in Hollywood. Leave a comment down below below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Really appreciate you guys being there. Please check out my Adventures of Baron von Monocle. It is in the description below. 6-book series if you like fantasy. I hope you'll enjoy this. We'll be back soon.